trainings. Hi, Jen.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Are you in your bakery?
I am.
Oh my gosh, can you give us a really quick tour?
Yes. Um, let's see. Let me get my phone off of my. Um, okay, so I
Tripod.
sub. Yeah. So I sublease. I have about 100 square feet where I sublease from a cupcake company. So I have all this space and about
So
100 square
cool.
feet or so. Yeah.
So do people get to like walk in? Is it like, are you just advertising or can they walk in and purchase something from you?
Well, I just had my grand opening about 3 weeks ago, so we're still working it out. And I'm just now creating products that people can walk in and buy. Because prior, I was just doing custom, like all these fondant custom cakes. I was only doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I did Halloween pre-order boxes and sold out in 24 hours. So I have the ability to do anything I want within my space. I am teaching classes also.
Nice. I love it. Well, I don't know if you have heard me talk about when I first opened the Cake Mamas, I wanted to just be a custom cake shop. Like I
I
wanted to just do
uh-huh.
that. And then I realized, oh, the community that I'm in actually wants me to be a bakery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to quickly kind of adapt. And I feel
Yeah.
like you're learning that now. When people walk in, it's great because they think that you're a bakery, but they see that you do these amazing fondant cakes and then they wind up leaving without making a purchase. That should break your heart like quick enough for you to figure out what can I
Yeah.
sell them right now when they walk in.
Yeah, and the company that I partnered with is a cupcake. They've been on Cake Wars, I don't know, 15 times or something. They're a local, well-known cupcake company, and so they can certainly buy their products. And I don't make cupcakes, so they do what I don't do, and I do what they don't do. And they're actually baking all of my cake layers and making my buttercream for me since I moved in. So I don't have to do it anymore. I had years too many of not liking the baking part.
Well,
So it's
that's
a really
amazing.
good
I'm having
partnership.
a tough time hearing you. My volume's all the way up, so I don't know what it is. Maybe if you guys could let us know in the comments if you guys can hear Jen. I don't know. It's like my phone doesn't want to be loud. Um,
Okay.
but I
I
can hear
just
you. So
replugged in. Can you hear better now? I just replugged in and turned up.
yeah, I can hear it a little
Okay.
better.
Okay.
So that's an interesting model that I kind of want to unpack a little bit, just like
Sure.
quickly. So you have this local bakery who serves cupcakes. You somehow partner with them because you make what they don't make, so they don't
Yeah.
view you as a competitor.
Yep.
They say you can have the front part of our store
Huh?
to what advertise what it is that you do, and
Yeah.
then if they don't want what you do they just walk in to go buy the cupcakes.
Yep. Yeah. So most of my, I mean, when I'm doing this, all this fondant stuff, it's all pre-order weeks ahead of time. So people are learning about my business. And it's more, advertising and marketing for me to be in here. And I've subleased before and I've been in commercial kitchens before. And then I worked from home for 9 years and I was done being home. So when this opportunity arose, I snagged it.
Yeah. And so are you paying them labor to like make your products, or
Yeah.
how is that
So
working?
so I'm buying my cake layers and buttercream at their wholesale price, wholesale cost, and then I'm subleasing. So I'm paying for the 100 square feet that I operate in. The interesting thing is that according to the health department, because I operated under my cottage food law for 9 years, this space that I'm doing, because I'm not baking and I'm not making buttercream, it's just considered a cake decorating space. And
Right.
so this time, unlike the previous times when I had storefronts and commercial kitchens, I can continue under my cottage food law and just have this a cake decorating space or to teach classes.
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, I'm proud of you because you found
Thank you.
some way to kind of work around. And I don't think you maybe
Mm-hmm.
sought out for this. I think it was an opportunity
Yeah,
that presented itself, right?
yeah,
And I think that's the message that people should take from this is like you're always supposed to set out with intention to do something.
mm-hmm.
And then like business is intersectional, right? Like you come to an intersection with now new opportunities. You make a decision from there. left turn, right turn, go straight, doesn't matter, but you move. And then there's going to be another intersection full of opportunities. And so I think that people can take that from you and learn, like, maybe the way you started it isn't necessarily the way it's going to be forever, but you're probably on the verge of some sort of opportunity you don't even know exists.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually, the owner of this cupcake company and I, we've partnered prior, and we tried a couple different things. So he was in a really high-end grocery store called Gelson's Market. You might have
Yeah.
him in LA.
Yeah.
And he went into three of them here in San Diego County, and he invited me to come with him. And so I created holiday-themed fondant cakes off the shelf, on the shelf.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and that blew up. It just fizzled out naturally. And so he and I kind of lost touch over those 2-3 years. And then he contacted me again and said, "Hey, I just opened a second location. I want you to move in." So it's important that we know that even if it's years go by, the connections that we make with other, not just customers and clients, but other business owners are imperative, because it allowed me to be in this beautiful space now.
Yeah, I love it. That's so awesome. Okay, the main reason I brought you on is because you had posted something yesterday that was just kind of a finding, and I want you to kind of quickly share it. But basically, what I got from it is a friend was kind of asking you, do you know your analytics? Are you going off of feelings, or do you really know them? And you were like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I know." And then you did some deep diving in your
Mm-hmm.
analytics, and then you were partially right, but there were a lot of findings, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, when we're in these types of businesses, our heart and our passion and our love and all these feelings are all mixed in. And oftentimes I think those feelings float to the top, and we forget about all the teachings that you're doing, all the business stuff and the important stuff, and that we need to separate those two things. And so when a friend of mine was like, you're doing a hobby. And I'm like, I did that cake for TLC. I was on TV, and I've had a storefront, and this isn't a hobby. And he's like, show me your numbers. And I'm like, but I feel, right? So I've been using Wix for my website for 15 years. I connected that to the Google Analytics program or whatever. And so he says, well, how often do you look at your analytics? And I said, I don't even know how to spell that word. I don't know. He says, well, let's look. Let's see. And I had been saying, I think the most of my clients come from Yelp, which, Yelp is controversial in itself.
Yeah.
And he says, but how do you know? Are you asking them? And many years ago I did, hey, where'd you get my number?
Right.
But that's kind of unprofessional to do nowadays. And so he says, let's take a look at your analytics. So we log in, and I couldn't believe all the information. It tells me how old, men, women, their age, where they live, what county, what city, the keywords that they're searching for, what time of day, what day of the week. Let's see, what else?
It tells you how many people are actually viewing.
How long they're staying, what page of your website they're staying on the longest, all these things. So we gathered all this information, and he was right in some ways where my feelings weren't correct.
Yeah.
My feeling about Yelp was correct, because usually 60 to 70% over the last many, many years come from Yelp. Yeah. And so
You know why? Really quick, one main reason, if you're an iPhone user, because this happened last night, I took my goddaughters to dinner for their birthday. They sent me the link from Apple Maps. I pull up the restaurant, and if you just scroll past the directions, the first thing that comes up are photos from Yelp of the restaurant. So I click on it, I'm looking through it, which is a customer visiting your website from Yelp, right? So they're not searching, like, people have to know, customers are not searching for negative reviews. They're not searching for any reviews. It's just that Apple, the number one phone used in the world, is partnered, for directions with Yelp. So it's an obvious choice that most of your customers are going to land on your website from Yelp. Most of your calls are going to be from Yelp. Now, you're right. Yelp is controversial. Like you said, you advertise with Yelp. I did too. I was in a terrible contract. This was way, way, way back in the day, though. But if you know that it's your number one source of traffic, like, how can you play into that? Can you encourage people to leave better Yelp reviews, to take better photos. Maybe you can take photos for them and encourage them to leave the
I do.
review with the
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Right. So there's so many things you can do now that you have that information and it's validated. But we oftentimes like use something like Yelp and